Somebody is suggesting you to measure your clothes, somebody giving you wazifa, close your eyes, do this, read this, and I want to tell you, nothing of all these silly things belong to tasawwuf and suluk and tariqah and ma'rifah. This is just misguidance. These are money makers. And the people, the TV and channel owners who are doing this, they have nothing to do with the service of deen. This is just their business. They have to earn money. They may get from anywhere. Whether they get it from bringing a blame to deen or bringing a wrong name to tasawwuf and suluk and tariqah and ma'rifah, whether to put deen and tasawwuf and suluk, maazallah, astaghfirullah, in hell, whether they can bring the singers or they can bring the dancers or they can bring the magicians or they can bring these characters doing damage to Allah's deen and Holy Prophet Sharia and doing a great damage to Ma'rifah and Tariqah and Suluk. Suluk is this, what Maulana Roomi has mentioned. This is tasawwuf. The awliya Allah in 14, 13 centuries of Islam never did and never recommended these silly kinds of acts which are being recommended through TV in the name of Sufi Baba and Peer Baba and Peer Online and I don't know what is happening over here. In the name of tasawwuf and tariqah and ma'rifah. There can't be any bigger enmity of Islam and Deen and Sharia and Tariqah, Suluk and Ma'rifah and Tasawwuf bigger than this. And who are their customers? We. Who are their customers? Do they get their customers from heavens? Tell me. From Bradford, from Nelson, from London, from Belgium, from England, people living in England and UK, highly qualified families, Western families living here, having awareness, having consciousness, having knowledge. The people who came here 30, 40 years before, they are quite conscious and they are well aware of the things. And they are sending pounds like the rivers and like seas on them. And the iman of the new generations is being distorted. This is what Maulana Roomi is stating, that these are the wrong claimant of Sufi peers. Then the Shaykh, the Salih, who was Allah's friend and who was sent by Almighty God, he came and he started treating and curing that girl. He asked the king that I want some seclusion. If you leave us altogether alone, thus briefly finalizing and the whole thing, he put his hands, the king gave them a privacy. He put his hands on the pulse of that lady, of that girl. Now he starts the diagnostic process. He put his hands on the pulse. And then he started asking various questions from her. Various questions from her. Where you are from, my daughter? Which is your city? The king opened his hands. No. And that perfect physician, that Tabib-e-Kamil, Shaykh-e-Kamil, started asking various questions. While putting his hands on her pulse, he went on asking various questions. And he was watching the color of her face, the palpitation of her pulse, the condition of her eyes. He was inspecting each and everything. He saw her pain, he saw her concern, and he understood that something is wrong with her, and the illness is not related to her body. Illness is related to her heart. And he understood that he has fallen, she herself has fallen into love of someone. King has fallen into love of her. Ruh has fallen into love of nafs, and nafs itself has fallen into love of something else. Nafs became the beloved of Ruh, spirit, and the soul, who has become the beloved of the spirit, itself has become lover of something else. He wanted to trace, diagnose who is the beloved of nafs, beloved of soul. This was the diagnostic process. And then Maulana Room says that the ailment of the lover is separate from all other ailments. And the ailment of love cannot be understood unless somebody has experienced the ailment of love. So he very gently went on asking, where is your native town? He said to that girl that for every suitable, all people of each town is separate. So tell me, which is your native town? And then he asked, she told, that is my town. He asked, who are your relatives? Who are your friends over there? Just name me. Name them. She started naming one by one. He asked about her kinships, her relationships, her friendships, her companies, which she used to have in her native town. He was an expert. While he was asking the questions, he was carefully putting hands and fingers on her pulses and watching the palpitation of the pulse. And he was watching the color of her face. Went on listening to her story, which he continued, and he was watching carefully the beating of pulse, so that whatsoever name her pulse should begin to throb, he would understand that here lies the object of her soul, of her nafs. Here lies the desire of her nafs. He continued up to the friends, her relatives, her cities, towns, from town to town. She mentioned the name of a certain town. Then she mentioned the name of another town. Then she mentioned the name of another town, and this was the process going on. Finally, he was asking about various towns, and finally, when he asked about Samarkand, a city near Bukhara, when he reached to that city, the reason of asking is that there are lot many ailments of nafs. When nafs is ill, soul is ill, and soul falls into love of something, it doesn't mean that every soul will get into love with gains, with wealth, with money. No, there are different ailments of nafs. Somebody's soul has fallen into love of money. Somebody's soul has fallen into love of the position. Somebody's soul has fallen into love of the power. Somebody's soul has fallen into love of his children. Somebody's soul has fallen into the sexual loves and lusts and propensities. Somebody's soul has fallen into love of arrogance. Somebody's soul has fallen into love of various other worldly pleasures. So this ailment differs from man to man, from soul to soul, from person to person. So the Kamil physician, the perfect one, he diagnoses which kind of ailment does exist in this particular soul.